to Mirror Domain's Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. Furiosa, almost beaten by Garfield this weekend, guys. Oh my god, what's going on with movie theaters? Why are people not going out to see good movies? I don't understand it. We'll talk about that. We'll break it down. What does it mean for the summer movie season now that, people are going to see terrible movies instead and then not showing up for the good ones? It's going to have impacts all over the industry, right? Daisey Ridley, did I spell her name right there? Has got a new movie coming out. We'll be talking about that. Byford in live chat says, hey, we're going to be talking about a new list of Hollywood A-listers that Hollywood Reporter has out. We'll take a look at that list. I think, actually, sorry, it's Variety, I think, that has that list. No, it's Hollywood Reporter. There you go. The Palme d'Or was awarded to a movie called Anora. Have you heard of it? Well, if you haven't, we'll talk about it here. MaXXXine updates, Fantastic Four updates, Kung Fu Panda 5 is getting another update. If you care about that. And The Ghost is going to get a reboot with Channing Tatum. What? No, I don't know about that. Yeah, well, we got a bunch of juicy headlines to get into. But we'll start off today's show by talking about the weekend's box office report. So, this is a long weekend in the States. So, we've got the traditional weekend here, the two-day weekend. Some people had Friday off as well in the States. So, it's kind of like a four-day weekend. And the main headline here is that, oh, Furiosa didn't do so well because it's a four-day weekend, and that's going to be, unfortunately, what a lot of people will be running with, saying that, well, because it was a long weekend, people should have gone out and see the movies, right? Look at the historic low numbers. I don't really care about that stuff. I care about where things landed. So we look at the two-day weekend, and then we've got the three-day weekend, which for some reason, Box Office Mojo has not put Furiosa on this one, because for the three-day weekend, they're saying that Garfield made 31.8. But you don't see Furiosa on this three-day weekend list, which I'm guessing will get updated probably by the end of the day. Box office meltdown. Garfield claims victory over Furiosa with number one Memorial Day opening in 3 decades. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Like the worst opening for a Memorial Day ever. And that's on the Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, it's going to be all over. So Furiosa narrowly beats Garfield for a 3-day win. So depending on what source and what time people are running their stories today, Garfield is one, and then depending on what story or whenever Mojo updates, it's going to be Furiosa that's one. So Furiosa, and it is the better movie. I haven't seen Garfield, but we'll talk about it in just a minute, guys, because there's something serious going on here behind the scenes it's just not clicking with people, and it's coming down to this: movie reviewers, social influencers. It doesn't matter what we say anymore, right? It doesn't matter, because we all came out. Critics and fans alike have all come out and said that Furiosa is an awesome movie, that it's fantastic, it's worth seeing in the theater, it's got great acting, it's got great storytelling, it's got great visuals, it's got a great soundtrack, you're going to love Chris Hemsworth as a bad guy, it's an awesome time at the theaters. Why would you not want to go see this movie? Because there's a cute cat out there, guys. It's a cute cat. And why I'm saying that critics and influencers don't matter is because the critics and influencers came out from Garfield and said, no, this is an atrocious movie. This has very poor structure. The animation is meh. The voice acting is meh. People were walking out of the theater when they went to see this movie, so you shouldn't go see it, right? But people went out and seen it. They went out and watched it. They prioritized that over what everybody else was saying was a better movie. And it's just barely made it by. So it's kind of like, do we like what the bottom line here is, what is that people don't care if it's a good story or not. People don't care who's in it. People don't care if it's like a good theatrical experience. If it's got a cute cat, then that's all that matters. Like it doesn't matter if it's a good movie or not. At least for the opening weekend's box office haul. Now, in the long run, I do think Garfield will come down. Like next weekend, I don't think it's gonna like. There's really nothing opening up next weekend, so as you can see, I'm a little bit frustrated here because this is one of the reasons why we can't have like we're not getting good quality original movies anymore. Like it's just it's dumbfounding. Like I stand on top of the hill saying, guys, this is a great movie. You should go out and see it. And it's like it's not. It doesn't happen. Um, I can understand that there's some kind of backlash to Atlas as well. That for some reason people don't like JLo, but I don't care about all that crap. And I watched it and I gave it a fair shake and I liked it. So there's something to be said here. And I'm going to try to publish like a short about this, trying to articulate exactly what's going on here. Because if all you care about is a cat, would would it have helped if you just put a cute cat on Furiosa's shoulder throughout this entire movie, just to get people in the theater to see it? Because it's a good movie, guys. This is a good movie. You're going to come out of this movie going, "Wow, thank you. I just watched a good movie. That was awesome." It's not going to be like, well, some of the dialogue with me, yeah, I don't know if I like that. No, it's a blockbuster, guys. This is supposed to be kicking us off for the summer season, and it's disheartening. It is. So anyway, let's take a look at the top five for the weekend's box office. Furiosa number one, 25.5. That's only for the 2-day weekend, guys. Once the 3-day gets updated, which will probably be Garfield at number one. Garfield had more theaters. It was shown in more theaters. Garfield's number two. If is number three. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is number four. And Fall Guys number five. So you got three really good movies in theaters right now. Furiosa, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Fall Guy. If is a little meh. Finally, Strangers is out of the top 10. But the thing is with Strangers, it only costs like 8 million. So even though, again, this goes to Echo. We came out of the theater saying, guys, don't go see Strangers. It's not a good movie. But people went and watched it anyway. So maybe it doesn't have to do with the cat. I'm just I don't know what the heck is going on with people out there. Because The Stranger does not deserve this. It doesn't deserve to make this kind of return. It's a terrible and awful movie. Like this has story problems, structure problems, acting problems, pacing problems, directing problems, lighting problems, cinematography problems, guys. But luckily, no, it probably won't drop off next week. Oh, again, yeah, it is out of the top five there. Sorry, but it's just it still made 5 million, 5.6 million this last week. Like, why are these people not going to pump up Furiosa? I don't understand it. So maybe I should be. Maybe I'm a little bit happy then that this is the worst weekend for the Memorial Day weekend, because something needs to change here. And I don't know if it's the time of year for Furiosa, but maybe it is. So Furiosa was around $168 million to produce. Let's pull up the worldwide totals here. 25.5 domestically, 33.3 internationally, 58.8 worldwide for $168 million budget. We're not seeing Wasteland. This is it. Mad Max is done. Like it's gonna It's going to crawl towards 75 million, maybe 100 million. At best, it's going to make 100 million. Unfortunately, guys, I have to report that Furiosa is going to be one of the biggest box office bombs of this year. And that's a little bit why I'm upset about all of this. Because it's a great movie. It's a fantastic experience. And it hurts. It hurts. Um so where do we go from here, right? Let's look at Garfield. We know that Garfield had opened up internationally like a week before, so it had earned like 80% of its production budget back, 98 worldwide, 31.8 domestically. Despite the terrible reviews, 38%, guys. I just don't know what's happening. I'm trying to account for something, I'm grasping at straws here. It's a kids movie, okay, fine, but there's other kids movies in theaters right now. If maybe that's it. Maybe summer season is there's should only be like one or two big like adult themed summer movies, and the rest should be just for kids. Because that's what seems to be happening here. I hope that the word of mouth gets around about Furiosa that next weekend the drop off won't be all that much. But I don't. That's just like high hopes. So, and I don't think that that's pretty much going to have much of an impact. I I'm just befuddled by all this. So, as you can see, the weekend's box office, depending on which report, it'll get probably corrected by later on today, which the Furiosa's numbers will be put into the 3-day total, in which it'll be number two. It's a damn shame, though, guys. It's a damn shame. So, I mean, what was the problem with Furiosa? Like, I don't get it. Was it the trailer? Furiosa, the art of spoiling a movie in the trailer? Did it show too much? False expectations? Lifer in a live chat says he didn't bother watching it because um, it didn't have Tom Hardy. And is that valid? No, Tom Hardy's not in it, so I don't want to watch it. Well, I think you shouldn't have called it Furiosa a Mad Max saga because Mad Max was not in it. Now, was it because it was a prequel? Possibly. Possibly, because when I look at what this story of Furiosa was, it jumped around in the timeline. So we saw a young, like, like little girl version of Furiosa. People associate Charlize Theron with Furiosa. Could this story easily have taken place after the events of Fury Road? Like, massaged in, like, okay, after she got away from Immortan Joe and the Citadel and retook it, now she goes back to get her vengeance on Dementus as the older Furiosa. I think that probably would have helped this movie a bit, imaging wise, because as Bifer said in live chat, there's no Tom Hardy, so I don't want to watch a movie about this. It's like, if that's the mentality, it seems to be maybe that is something that's shared across from a lot of people. Uh, but I still like this movie, and it's probably going to be one of my more favorite movies of this. It's going to be in contention to be one of my favorite movies of the month for sure, and it's going to be in for the top 10 of the year, no doubt about that. Right now, I think Apes still has the number one spot for the month, and I need to revisit. I need to revisit Doom Part Two because Apes might be number one overall, but it's up there, man. Furiosa I like primarily because of Dementis. Annie Taylor-Joy did great, but you could have had her be the younger Furiosa coming to Immortan Joe, trying to get away from Dementis, and had all that story intact, and then massaged it in such a way that, okay, once she came back to the Citadel and reclaimed power, now she goes after Dementis, right? Because she's always had that vengeance in the back of her mind, kind of thing. I don't know. There's ways you could have done it. Max does not fit in this story because it's all about Furiosa. So, did they show too much in the trailers? I don't know. We're going to have to figure out what's going on here, guys. There's a poll up on Joe Blow as to what's your favorite Mad Max movie. And you've got all... Well, they put Furiosa in there because it's not really a Mad Max movie. Right now, it's a tough call for me between Fury Road and Road Warrior. For the longest time, Road Warrior was number one, right? But I'm gonna have to go Fury Road. As much as and I love the ending for Fury Road Warrior, that reveal that they done him dirty. It's tough. It's tough. I have the Road Warrior so awesome. It's so iconic. A Fury Road, I think, would have to be number one. Yeah, see, it'd be those two between the top. You got 21 votes for Furiosa. The original Mad Max has got some fantastic stunts in it. A lot of people got hurt doing it because it was like they were putting their bodies on the line. And I do like Thunderdome as well. Blaster Master. Heartbreaking. I'll have to figure out what's going on this weekend, guys. What do you think about some of these box office numbers? Does some of it compute for you? One last thing that opened up on the weekend was Atlas. And we did a full live watch along here on the channel. And I thought it was pretty good. So we'll do a review for Atlas at the end of the show towards... like after we're done all the hit or miss stuff, I'll come back and because I want to try to articulate my thoughts about that movie, because that's something that's got me mired here in, like, because Atlas also doesn't have good reviews. People believed it for some reason and trashed it. Garfield got bad reviews. People don't care and went out and saw it anyway. So why couldn't that have been the same for Atlas, right? That's, for me, it doesn't compute. And I think the Atlas score will go up. Because right now, this is how influencers are a little bit impactful, where they come out and poo-poo all over everything. One or two of them does, and then it's like the bandwagon thing, right? And then the audience is like, okay, well, I hate it too. Did you see the movie? No, but I hate it. So you see, I can use that argument on myself. I haven't seen Garfield. I don't hate Garfield, the movie, because I haven't seen it. I hate the concept of this happening, of where people have come out and said, don't bother to go see Garfield, wait for it to be streaming. People go out and see it, right? I don't like that aspect of Garfield, right? Like I see it and I'm like, I don't need to go sit in the theater to watch what people are telling me what's a bad movie. Like if there's a few people in here that I would trust said that it was worth looking at, like a Matt Donato or Perry Nemiroff or somebody like that said that, hey, you know what, maybe you should check this out. But like, Sean Chandler doesn't like it. I think Jeremy Johns ripped it a new one as well, and he's my most trusted Jeremy. So it's kind of like, I'll wait for streaming, but yeah, it's a weird thing. And once I get this argument figured out in my head, I'll put it into a short, and it'll make a lot more sense what I'm trying to, my frustrations are all about. All right, we went on for length on that one. Let's talk about the summer movie season. After Furiosa misfires, when will summer movie season rebound? So, yeah, we're going to take a look at what's coming out on the slate here because this is going to be a disappointing result across the board for a lot of people. Furiosa not doing so well. And we look ahead to next weekend, the 31st. Not much is opening up. Young Woman in the Sea, that's that Daisey Ridley movie where she swims the English Channel. A few other movies, Summer Camp and Ezra. And then that small indie horror In a Violent Nature, which I'm looking forward to. If I can find where it's playing near me, I'm going to go see that because you know I like horror first and foremost. But there's really no big, huge tentpole release. So I would expect the the same fight here for first place for Furiosa and Garfield to carry over till next weekend as well. The weekend after that, though, we have Bad Boys 4 and The Watchers coming out. So Bad Boys 4 is getting pretty good word of mouth. There's nobody coming out and trashing it like Garfield. So, but again, that doesn't really matter. But Bad Boys for Life also has, or Bad Boys for Ride or Die has the Will Smith angle on it. People didn't like Atlas because it's J-Lo for some reason. Well, there's going to be the same crowd of people that'll be like, well, it's Will Smith. I don't want to watch it. Because some people still haven't forgiven, right? From the Oscar situation. I have. I'm ready to move on. He served his time in the penalty box. So I think it's time to start to welcome him back because he's a good actor. Netflix will have Hitman out, that Glenn Powell rom-com kind of spy thriller kind of mashup. I look forward to that. Oh, that Russell Crowe picture is also opening up, that Exorcism movie, huh? The weekend after that, June 14th, we got Inside Out 2. That'll be another kid crowd pleaser, hopefully. The Bike Riders is the week after that. That's that Tom Hardy movie, bike riding movie. Quiet Place Day 1 is at the end of June. So I'm looking for like the big blockbusters here, right? Inside Out 2 will make a lot of money. I don't think Bad Boys 4 will probably make 300 to 400 million, maybe. Bike Riders will make that's not going to make 100 million. Horizon, an American Saga, that's that Kevin Costner Western. I saw the trailer for it on the big screen and it played pretty decent on the big screen. It's just because it's chopped up into two parts. I don't know if people are going to like the cliffhanger kind of thing. Quiet Place Day 1 is at the end of June. I'm really looking forward to that. Then in July, we get Despicable Me 4 and Axel F on Netflix, Beverly Hills Cop 4. Despicable Me 4. Again, you see what's going on here. There's a lot of kids movies because kids are out. That's when you need to have them. But it's kind of like there's not a lot of other big blockbusters. And July 5th is when MaXXXine comes out. My most anticipated, like horror of the summer kind of thing. One of my most anticipated, next to Longlegs, maybe at the weekend after that. Longlegs I'm looking forward to. Fly Me to the Moon has got no buzz. That's that Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans movie where it's she's like a press. She works for like press, and she's coming to help the PR department at NASA as they're making the astronauts go to the moon, trying to help with their public image because they're just so stoic and boring to watch and stuff. And I'm gonna watch it because, guys, you know I like Scarlett Johansson. What's next? Twisters, July 19th. That'll be a big one. I think that one has a chance to be. That one should be over 500 million. It should be. And if it's good, if it's really good, it could be in play for $1 billion. But I don't think much is going to be in the play for $1 billion this year. Deadpool and Wolverine at the end of July, does have a chance to make $1 billion. Even though it's R-rated, kids will sneak into it. People want to see, they want to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds just go at it. Fabulous Four. What the heck is that? I don't know what that is. Cuckoo is a horror movie in August. Hunter Schafer. Harold and the Purple Crayon. Meh. Kneecap. Borderlands. Now that one I think is going to crash and burn because people don't like Kevin Hart being cast in a role that's meant for somebody that's supposed to look like uh, Jack Reacher, right? It's a Jack Reacher scenario there with Borderlands where uh, he's supposed to be like a big dude, not the small little guy. It ends with us. Shyamalan's Trap. Trap comes out August 9th. Cool. Like, none of those will be, yeah. I'm not seeing a lot here that'll be making a lot of money. Alien Romulus, August 16th. That's the next big one I would be looking forward to after MaXXXine and Longlegs for horror for us. I think that one will make okay. That'll be like 300 to 400 million, I think. Worldwide. Horizon Chapter 2, August 23rd. Blink Twice. That's one I'm looking forward to as well. Is The Crow and Slingshot. Crow, Bill Skarsgård's Crow. I think that one's probably going to crash and burn. But the Blink Twice gets me intrigued because that's that Zoe Kravitz directed movie with Channing Tatum, where he's like a rich guy that owns an island that brings people there to like run experiments on them or something. It's really weird. But that won't make a whole lot of money. Venice Film Festival, they listen. And then that brings us to September with Beetlejuice, and that's not summer anymore. That's getting to fall, right? Killer's Game, Speak No Evil, the remake of the Swedish, was it Swedish or Norwegian, the original? Old Guy. Transformers 1 in September. Yeah, but kids will be back in school in September, won't they? See, now that, see, Transformers 1, this is like this next week here, that's when Transformers 1 should be out. Because there's nothing else out. And it's a kids' movie. Slee, Never Let Go. Never Let Go, that's that one, that's that Halle Berry horror movie. It's got me intrigued. I don't know what the Wild Robot is. Joker is in October. So I'm not going to go right down to the end of the year, but you get the point. Can the summer movie season rebound? I don't like other than Deadpool. And an outside shot that Twisters may pull enough bank. I don't see a whole lot that would make $1 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine is people's most anticipated. Sonic 3, that's not until the winter, guys. Despicable Me 4, maybe can make $1 billion. Yeah, that Despicable Me 4, maybe. Because there's just not a lot else out there. Furiosa is not. Kingdom's going to make a pretty decent bank. What's Kingdom at now? 298. So that's not going to make 400. Ah, guys, we got good movies in theaters. Joker, Joker has to deliver to make $1 billion. I'm not setting the unrealistic expectation that Joker will, though. I'm thinking 600 million. It taps out at 600 million because people just aren't. There's for some reason they're not going. Craven is not to the fall. Quiet Day Place 1 will make okay. It won't be huge though. It won't be huge. Garfield is Gladiator 2. That doesn't come out this year, though. That comes out next year, guys. What are you doing? No, it's 2024, James. November. Oh, okay. Kung Fu Panda 4. So this is just the IMDb one. So that's why we're getting older things like Madame Web in there. That's already come out. Argyle bombed. Inside Out 2 will be okay. Godzilla X Kong did well. So, yeah. Can it rebound? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. Let's move on. Daisey Ridley. I put an E in there. See if I can fix that. I don't think I can. Yeah, I thought that her name looked a little off. But I don't know if I can do it with such haste. Or if it even matters. But if I cut this story out and chop it up later, then maybe it does matter. Okay. It won't take long, guys. I'm almost done. See if it changes. Should change now. Did it change? There. Good. Chris Schober in live chat says, hey. Okay. Daisey Ridley has a new movie coming out, but she has said that stress and pressure of Star Wars caused her ill health. Then I guess I would ask, why are you going to go back to it? Why are you going to go back to the Rey character, a story that nobody wants to see? She has a new movie out called Young Woman and the Sea that opens up this next week, guys. And it's a story of a woman who swims the English Channel. Yes, I know it's a little bit like that other movie that just came out about swinging, uh, Naiad that was about swimming from Cuba to Florida, right? Is that what it was? So I do like Daisey Ridley as an actress. Tilda Cobham Hervey is I don't recognize anybody else in here. It's got reasonable buzz, 916. It may be a little too close to Naiad for some people, though, right? I want to see what the tomato meter score is saying about this. No scores yet for this, but she is a good actress, and I guess she's out doing press. And this is where the question came up. Oh, how do you feel about Star Wars and stuff? And she said that it caused her ill health. Well, we know that it caused her to get off social media. People came after her. She would say something that's not really about Star Wars, and then people would start attacking her, and it's like, but I don't blame any of the actors involved with Star Wars, except for the Holdo maneuver. No, that should have been Akbar. I blame more Ryan Johnson for that one. Um, and I blame the script writers. And I blame Kathleen Kennedy and I blame Bob Iger for what's happened to the sequel trilogy that nobody else. I just re-signed up for Disney Plus because we're going to watch The Acolyte in June. I just signed up again, and I was like, maybe should I watch Rise of Skywalker? No, no, you'd have to pay me money to watch Rise of Skywalker. It's that bad, guys. So she had a leaky gut and intense stress. Really, Rise of Skywalker sequel. Ridley now feels confident and capable in the franchise, so she's made peace with it. That's good. Let's see what she says here. Quote, oh God, essentially it was a leaky gut. I was just knackered. I've never traveled that much or done press junkets, and my body deals with stress in a very physical way. So my gut was manifesting an emotional reaction to traveling around the world, people saying hello to me in the street, and me going, "What's going on?" and worrying. So should I be me? Am I good enough? Am I only, uh, and I only felt I was by the third film. Aish. The less said about that one, though, the better. By then, I felt okay. I was chosen for a reason, but it took a long time. It was super intense. Again, it's a paycheck, so you're going to go back to it. I guess that's the number one reason, right? Out of all the Star Wars movies have been scrapped, this is one that I would scrap. Like this would have been showcase number one. We're not going back to Rey. uh, they were not they the sequel trilogy did not make money because of Rey as a character or because of Daisy Ridley. They made money because of the promise that you were going to tell more with the characters that we liked, right? All right. So, uh, Hollywood Reporter has a list of up and coming A-list actors, young movie stars taking Hollywood by storm. And Daisy Ridley was poised to be one of those actresses. But because of her reaction to the Star Wars fame and stuff, she was in a few things here and there, but mostly she just hasn't stalled. She's mostly stalled, right? Austin Butler. Yeah, I'd have him on my list. He's going to be in that Bike Riders movie with Tom Hardy next. He was really good as Fade Rauta, Doom Part 2. He was good as Elvis. I thought he was good as Elvis. And when you hear him talk about his approach to Fade in Doom Part 2, that's when you really get to understand that, oh, he really puts a lot of work into how he's going to portray this character on screen. Timothée Chalamet, talking about Dune, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't say like we're not. He's not as big of like a draw as say like a Tom Hardy, but he's getting up there. He's going to be the next wave of Leonardo DiCaprio. The heck was that? What's with those pants? Jacob Elordi. Well, he's sought after, but a lot of people didn't like Saltburn as much as I thought that they would. It was a little too artistic. And while he was good in it, hmm, I need a few more movies yet before I render a judgment on Jacob Elordi. Paul Mescal. What, are you not going to give us a picture? He's going to be in Gladiator 2. That'll be my first real exposure to Paul Mescal. I know he was nominated or something like that, wasn't he? Jenna Ortega's definitely on that list. Yeah. Beetlejuice. Wednesday season 2. Looking forward to that. Glenn Powell, he definitely is the star on the rise. For some reason, you don't have a picture of Glenn Powell either, but he's going to be in Twisters. You know what he looks like. Florence Pugh. She has been in a lot already, though, guys, so I don't know if she's A-lister exactly. People didn't really go out to see Don't Worry, Darling. Which is on Netflix right now, right? I'd say we could watch that one, but it's pretty risque at parts. And I like how weird it gets towards the end. But she's a good actress. Sydney Sweeney. You don't have a picture about her either. What's going on here, Hollywood Reporter? She's one I'm keeping my eye on. Don't worry about Madame Web. She was really good in Immaculate. Immaculate is something that I would go out and get on Blu-ray right now if I could. Anya Taylor-Joy definitely is. Despite the box office bomb that's Furiosa, she's still awesome, and I'll watch her in anything. Queen's Gambit, Northman, Menu. Camera loves her. She's one of the rare people that she can put on anything. Just anything, and it'll look absolutely amazing. Zendaya, she's got it, guys. You know how I don't like Luca Guadagnino, and even she got me around to watching Challengers, which I conceded was not a terrible movie. Jeez. People want to hear about that, James. Is that it? Is that it? I need to chop that on. Put that up. Oh, mercy. Who's missing from that list? You know who's missing from that list? Mia Goth. Let's talk about MaXXXine. MaXXXine director teases 80s Terminator-like aesthetic for the upcoming horror. Ty West is the director. And yeah, Mia Goth, I think, is one that should be on that up-and-coming 10 list. Because she's going to be awesome. She is awesome. I can't wait for this MaXXXine that takes place after Pearl. So she's the same character from Pearl, not Pearl. It takes place, well, it does take place after Pearl, because Pearl's like 80 years before or something like that, right? 60 years before. But I mean, X. It's the same character from X that she goes to Hollywood now and tries to become an actress. And then gets caught up in a murder. There's like a serial killer or something. MaXXXine Minx tries to make it to the big screen. It's poppy, but it's still grounded in more of a grittier 80s than a shopping mall 80s. You're seeing the glamorous side of movie business and the seedy side of Hollywood, like the casting couch kind of stuff, right? I'd put her up there as one of the top 10 stars. She'd be on mine. Take out Palme. But James, he was nominated. I don't care. I do have one idea that plays into these movies that could maybe happen. I don't know if it'll be next. It might be. We'll see. Oh, talking about making another one after this, the MaXXXine era. I don't know if you make a third good movie. Sometimes you just need to say, okay, that's it. We're walking away, like they should have done with Indiana Jones. You made 3 really good movies. That's it. You're done. But no, we went back to the well, not once, but twice. And look at the abominations that we got. Because you can't ruin these things. You can. It's easier to ruin it than it is to make a better one. Matrix, right? Next. Actually, people didn't really like Matrix Revolutions anyway. Next. Anora. What the heck is going on with my camera? Like this was gonna happen. I don't know why when I turned it on. It must be a loose connection or something. It's not overheating because the camera's only been on for 45 minutes. The other day we watched, oh, you know what? There must have been a little bit of a brownout. Must have been a power surge. It is raining outside. There's a storm. So if I lose power, my bad. Anyway, let's talk about this. Right? Anora is next. Anora, Palme d'Or winner Sean Baker on the plight of theatrical, discouraging, but sees a rising film culture at Cannes. Well, if you win something, of course you see a rising film culture. What is this movie, Anora? Anora is a comedy about sex workers shot in New York City and Las Vegas. About a sex worker. Played by Mikey Madison, I think, right? I don't recognize anybody else in the cast. She was in Scream 5. Really good actress. Mikey Madison. So, won the Palme d'Or. That's like the big prize at Cannes Film Festival, right? Surprisingly, though, guys, I cannot find a whole lot of information about like trailers and stuff for this. I've looked around. Erotic dancer comedy drama Anora wins top prize. And I was like, I searched for the trailer, and you get like little clippets of stuff, and then it's like other people talking in the background, so they've like hijacked it. There must have been just like a few like 5-second blurbs put out, and then people have attached their own stuff to it. Because I don't see an official trailer for it, which is kind of moronic. But Nora, if it's winning awards, we're going to get a release sometime here this year, I would imagine. Certainly one step towards helping theaters. Really? Yeah, no, there's something really bad going on at the theaters right now, and we're trying to figure it out. He says, quote, "You see theaters closing every day, unfortunately. I follow a Twitter feed about theaters closing," Baker said. I grew up to movie. I grew up to movie, and I grew up to movie theaters, to theaters. That's where I want movies to be shown as a filmmaker. See, that's the most ideal version of it, right? All movies should be seen on the theater, but I don't think all movies should be. I do agree that it's very discouraging to see this. It's scary, but some producers and production houses admit some of the films that they make are just slapped together for rights issues, to retain rights for a movie, or because they want to have a tax write-off, perhaps. Like that's also not good for the culture, right? I see a rising film culture in New York, LA, Austin, and San Francisco. I see young people who want to go out and see movies in the theater. I'll echo what he says here. When I went out to see, I saw the TV Glow. There was the majority of the crowd was young people. I think I must have been like the oldest person there. So young people want to go and see these like the abstract movies as well. Although I wouldn't say that Anora sounds abstract. It's just not mainstream, right? This isn't exactly a mainstream movie, which he admits. Follows a stripper played by Mikey Madison who marries Russian oligarch's son. Hopefully, it reminds mainstream audiences that films still exist. So it's going to be distributed by Neon. It's got 96% on the tomato meter. Oh, we got some comments. Let's take a look. Sean Baker is fantastic. I wish his older stuff was more easily available on streaming. Do you? What's his old stuff? Florida Project. Okay, Tangerine. I know those properties. And yeah, those are more artsy, fartsy kind of stuff, right? Happy to see Baker's film win this award. He has a unique voice and offers a glimmer of hope for the future of American cinema, which has lost its way in the past couple of decades. I think streaming has a lot of problems, a lot of to deal with it. Price, cinema is alive, creativity is dead. So some cynical views here. Cinema is alive, but the 2019 cinema is dead. Films like Ford v Ferrari, Jojo Rabbit, Once Upon a Time aren't coming back. What? What are you talking about? Joker's literally coming back. Huh, Roy says. Red Rocket was excellent. Baker is a terrific director, so you got Baker fans that exist, apparently. So there you go. I was seeing it mostly because of her. I like Mikey Madison. Really liked her in Scream. Lady in the Lake is next for her, a TV miniseries. So I'll keep my eye open for Anora if it's going to be playing at the Art House Theater or not. Once upon a time, yeah, she was one of the girls on the ranch. she gets attacked by the dog or something, or she gets hit in the head with the dog food or something, right? Can't quite remember that scene. Good actress though. How old is she? 1999. Could she be a Lara Croft? Hmm. A younger Lara? Because there's a TV series coming out. Maybe. I don't know. No, I don't know. I like her though. Next, Kung Fu Panda 5. Kung Fu Panda 5 will be bigger, according to fourth film's director. Mike Mitchell wants to keep going bigger for the fifth installment. Is the fourth movie out already? I don't know. You just looked at the listings, James, and you can't remember that far ago. When is Kung Fu Panda 4 out? I don't know. Frankly, I don't want to know. Then why are you talking about this? Oh, because I have to. Oh, so it is playing still. It was still playing, right? March 8th is when that came out. Okay. So, uh, Kung Fu Panda 4 promises to be bigger. I think no matter what, we keep going bigger, whether I'm working on it or not in theater or watching these things. Guys, that's also something that's toxic about Hollywood. If we're going to make a sequel, it's got to be bigger and more expensive. Why? Why? It's kind of like the thought of roller coasters, right? Okay, we made a big one with like a huge drop, 100 meters. The next one's got to be a 150-meter drop. It's like that mentality. Why? Why can't you not just make it so that it's also so that the same drop is just as thrilling but in a different way, right? That's old school ideology and part of what's maybe hurting Hollywood as well. All right, we got a Fantastic Four kind of story to talk about. Rahul Kohli was passed over for Pedro Pascal in Fantastic Four. Guys, if you don't know who Rahul Kohli is, he's one of Mike Flanagan's go-to men, and he's a really, really good actor. I could have seen him as Reed Richards. He was really good in Blind Manor. He was Napoleon in the Netflix series Fall of House of Usher. People liked him in Midnight Mass. Really good actor. But Pedro Pascal is also a good actor. I just don't have high hopes for Fantastic Four. I kind of I'm expecting them to give us a turd, actually, to tell you the truth. Oh, but that's what the MCU has set us up to expect, right? Um, it would have been cool to see him, but Pedro's also good. So next, Ghost reboot. Channing Tatum's Ghost remake gets curious response from original actor. So Demi Moore shares her thoughts about Channing Tatum's Ghost remake. I didn't know that they were making a Ghost remake. Actually, I still think the first one holds up quite a bit. A lot, actually. A lot of people, like the younger reactors who see the movie for the first time, still get hit by it here. And it's Whoopi Goldberg was phenomenal in it. Uh, Though acknowledging some stories are better left untouched, she's optimistic about the new iteration. Feels that the reinterpretations of classics can bring wonderful surprises. Tatum's Ghost remake, high expectation after original's Oscar nominations and box office success. That's also something that's going on with Hollywood. Why are we remaking good movies? Right? Why can't we make a movie remake one that was like a swing and a miss and like tweak it so that take all the criticisms and try to refashion it so that hey, this was a good idea, it just wasn't well done. kind of thing, right? Everything about Ghost was pretty much well done. The soundtrack, the score, the use of needle drops, acting. And yeah, I think it's Whoopi's best performance. Look, every story in some ways has already been told. The wonderful thing is that the different way things can be reinterpreted. Well, have you not learned your lesson from like the RoboCop remake, Total Recall remakes? You just don't seem to understand the properties. And I hate to say it, but I think The Crow is going to suffer the same fate. I think there are some films that are often better off left not touched and left, and then sometimes there are wonderful surprises that are reinterpretations. Yeah, the clay molding scene, Bifer says in the live chat. Tatum's Ghost remake has some big shoes to fill. It does, because if he's playing the Patrick Swayze character, okay, that's an interesting casting, but like, who do you get for Whoopi? Demi Moore and Tony Goldwyn. Okay, whatever, you can find suitable replacements. But it was his relationship with Whoopi that was Oda May, right? Talking about Whoopi, talking about Demi, we've been talking about this story for the last couple weeks. It seems like The Substance, the movie horror. I said I would get the release date for you. September 20th, guys, will be now is when this comes out on through Mubi. Mubi, Mubi. This is the one where she likes he gets like a skin suit that's played by a younger actress. That makes her, and it has full nudity. We talked about that a while ago. All right. Yeah. Next. Hit or miss headlines. I guess we're already in there. We're going 58 minutes. Glenn Powell offers promising updates for the long waited Captain Planet movie. Was there, I didn't realize that there has been a long awaited Captain Planet movie. Did people really want to see uh, Captain Planet? He was based off of Tom Cruise, right? Uh, Glenn Powell is still working hard on bringing environmentally conscious superhero Captain Planet to the big screen. Right now, I would tell you no, absolutely not. We're going to get to some other stories here where people are done with this messaging. We don't need messagings, especially political messaging, social commentary kind of thing. That's really been the driving impetus behind a lot of Disney projects as of late, where it's kind of like, well, we can have certain things, but let's make sure that we have the strong message of inclusion or diversity, and that'll be the driving force of the movie, and not actually putting together a good story, which the original director of Mermaid and Aladdin has come out and now said that they need course correction for this kind of stuff. The classic Disney films didn't start out trying to have a message. They wanted you to get involved in the characters and the story and the world. And I think that's still the heart, Musker added. You don't have to exclude agendas, but you have to first create characters you sympathize with and who are compelling. Yeah, he went on to complain about how the live action Mermaid took away the story from like the father daughter relationship, and it did. I liked the live action Little Mermaid. I think it is a better film than the animated one. I actually think it is, but I don't think they needed to do it. I don't think it was necessary. And Captain Planet, it's going to be met instantly with backlash from that movement that doesn't want the woke agenda. It's going to be like instantly scrutinized. And I would say, why would you put your hand in the fire? Don't do it. Why? Let's see. Uh, so while he was out talking about anyone but you, God, I freaking hope so, he says. Trust me, we've been working hard on that one for a long time. I'm optimistic about his future, but you never know the timeline. Well, he's got Twisters next. We're going to see him in Hitman early next month that we'll watch here on the channel Mirror Domains. He's an actor in demand. We just talked about him in being the top 10 of stars that people want to work with right now. But I would say no to Captain America or Captain Planet. Pfeiffer says an Indian movie won the second highest prize at Cannes, first in 30 years. Really? I didn't really look at the rest of the list. All right, I think that's pretty much all I got on the can here, guys. Um, you know how much she always brings a smile to my face. Taylor Swift performs in Portugal for the first time, praises crowds for heirs to her love during emotional speech, took my breath away. The only reason why I want to talk about this is apparently if you had gotten tickets, apparently you could have gotten them for a lot cheaper going over to Europe to get them than paying here, where you could pay up to $1,000 to sit up in the nosebleed section, like all the way back up in here, guys. $1,000 is for like North American tickets. So guess how much they're paying down here? Yeah. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, well, I was going to use this as a segue to tell you guys that I signed back up for Disney Plus, but since I already took the opportunity to say that, um, I guess we don't really need to talk about this one, do we? This is just for more my interest, because now the Eras Tour movie is on Disney Plus, so I'll be watching that later on tonight. Okay, so that's all I have. I guess we can get into. Guess we can get into some of my Atlas review now. Maybe let's go see what's trending. See if I missed anything. Angelina Jolie covers the latest issue of Vogue Japan. Oh yeah, I did check. Shogun is on Disney Plus. Don't forget Disney Plus has the Era extended cut. Yeah. Was there two versions of it on there? I like this outfit though. That's cool. We like Angelina here on this channel. Aaron Taylor Johnson for Armani. Is he our next Bond? I don't know. They wanted him, right? Dylan Minnette. Never heard of him. What was he in again? Zendaya for Bulgari. Eternity Reborn campaign. Wow. Yeah, it's airbrushed to all hell, but whatever. She still looks stunning. What is your favorite film of 2024 so far? Well, it would be between Dune and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes for me. Love Lies Bleeding. That's Love Lies Bleeding. Furiosa. It will be Furiosa for some. It was a good movie, not Challengers. uh, Abigail's up there for me. I had so much fun with that. Josh Hutcherson. Monaco GP, huh? Anya Taylor-Joy. Lady Gaga on Joker. What I will say is that I've never done anything that I've done in this movie before. Well, you haven't been in a whole lot of movies, so that's not a stretch. The Society. Oh, that's a show. Lewis Hamilton and Anya Taylor-Joy. Can't give that the old heart. Yeah, that'll be the big story. Opens with 25.55, 168 million to produce. Austin Butler and Jodie Comer at Indy 500. We're going to see them in the Bike Riders movie. Anya again. Give that the heart. 1 year ago, Little Mermaid came out, did it? Okay. Was this? Oh, this is what you were talking about, Bifer? We all made it. We all we imagine as light. Emilia Perez. Yeah, well, apparently. So this is all about the awards. Atlas is now on Netflix, streaming #1. All right. All right. Let's talk about Atlas because I do want to talk about this. Okay. Atlas is a Netflix movie starring Jennifer Lopez, and it tells the tale of a rogue AI that goes and tries to blow up the world Thanos style, but she's got to go hunt him down first, kind of thing. And the bad guy's played by Simu Liu, Shang-Chi himself. Guys, the initial impressions are that I found this movie actually pretty good. I was impressed with the visual style of it, uh, with the visual effects, how well things were integrated into the scenes. It was fairly seamless, and it was grand in scope, I thought. Uh, a lot of people are tearing this movie apart because, for some reasons, I don't know, people don't like her hair for some reason. Uh, People say, well, it's lazy sci-fi. I liked it because I saw where some of the sci-fi nods were coming from. And I don't care if you don't like J-Lo right now. I don't have that as a factor into why I'm not liking or gonna tell you that this should not be watched. Like, I like her, and she's made good Netflix movies in the past with Mother last year. So I went into it with a fairly open kind of mindset because she has done well in the past. And I did like her other projects. So Sterling K. Brown is also in this, and Mark Strong is also in this. My thoughts were that, yeah, it's a bit like Avatar with the mech suits that we see. Like, there's that. And then uh, there's a little bit of that AI stuff. I think some people wanted this to be like a cautionary tale about how AI is today, kind of thing, but it's really not. Uh, it's about her in like this pod for most of it. So you have to rely on her acting abilities to sell you, and it did for me. Yes, I will grant that some of the acting is hokey at times. Some of the dialogue is like, all I want is a coffee. Yes, but she does it well enough where you're like, you give it a pass. And if you don't want to give it a pass, I would say, well, the visual effects then should be enough for you to say, okay, I'm curious enough that I want to check this movie out because it looks thrilling. And at the end of the day, I was like, I can't believe the imagery that we're seeing in this movie. Um, J-Lo made a movie like this. This is cool. And it is number one right now on Netflix, movie-wise. So I would go over and check that out. Uh, let's pull up my score sheet here and get through some preliminary numbers for Atlas. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. Start off with the acting. Now, there's nothing Shakespearean in this, but I'm gonna have to give 1.5 for the voice acting of Smith, the artificial intelligence of her mech suit, because she's got to tie into it, kind of thing, right? Kind of like Johnny Mnemonic kind of style, a little bit of Matrix thrown in there. Uh, I like that tie-in with the AI. It didn't need to tell me a story about how we're doomed because of AI is going to take us over, kind of thing. I didn't need that. Some people want that for some reason. It's not like that. Directing, execution of the visual effects was pretty good. Execution of the story, I think the story could have been trimmed down a touch. It felt like they glossed over some stuff. So I'll say that story at 1 right now. Directing and acting though, I'll give a 1.5. Cinematography, the visual effects are really good. Score, there's a couple times I'll say the score was actually pretty good too. The sounds that you heard were accented by the the movie soundtrack, and you're like, oh, what? Okay, I like that. I want to listen to that. And it was fairly well done in that regard. So we're sitting at a 6 out of 10. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about this, because this is where we're going to run into some rough waters. 17% by critics, 54 by the audience. So the audience liked it better than the critics. And I'm guessing people are going to say that it's just familiar story tropes. I'm guessing. I haven't read all the critics' reviews, but the audience scores, uh, people were saying stuff like her hair and stuff like that. That's where I got that from. Uh, Audience member really enjoyed it. I can't understand the low ratings. This one is the best shoot 'em ups I've seen in years. Yeah, the action is pretty intense at times. Uh, this was painful to watch. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't even finish the movie. Like what? Like I don't know which movie you were watching then. It was painful to watch. Like it starts off pretty fast. The first act goes by like that. You're like, oh, and they don't waste time um, dumping exposition on you in pointless scenes. Like, oh, here I am watering my plant, telling you about my grandiose plans, kind of thing. No, they're getting ready for battle, and exposition is coming out that makes sense to the scene. Like I'm thinking about a scene that takes place in a hangar, right? Kate Sanchez. Atlas is pretty to look at, and Jennifer Lopez continues her run as a well competent action star. But with a clunky narrative, you can tell that it wants to be an anime very, very badly. Yeah, you got hints of anime in there, like because of the mechs, for sure. Um, I want to try to highlight like a pointless review here. Atlas often feels like a missed opportunity, hampered by sluggish pacing and a lack of depth in character development for everyone else except the main character. Um, well, it was pretty much her movie. The only other character was Smith. Are you talking about the bad guy? Yeah, he was a little bit mustache twirling there towards the end, but his plans, like Thanos, um, Indian Express, Rohan. To call Atlas an eyesore would be accurate, but it would also unfortunately imply a misty-eyed longing for the days of. See, this person likes the gray man. See, I discount you right there. Red Notice was fine, but it was schlocky. That's that one with Gal Gadot. The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. No, I would easily take Atlas over those. Okay, what else we got here? Some U.S. Today. While Atlas doesn't top the J-Lo movie canon, it's certainly more interesting than a lot of her rom-com output. Yeah, it is. That's what I meant by how surprising it is that I was like, I can't believe that she made a movie like this. Um, the visuals were impressive. For me, they were. It was shocking how well it was integrated and felt like seamless. like for a Netflix movie, Alice, and then on top of that is a JLo movie. That's where I was like, okay, this is a little bit more surprising, and we should probably give it a better or like more of a fair shake. But some people just are not as forgiving. Let's see. I just want to see if one that does attacks her for her face or something, because there are people here that do that. A Bucket of Bolts movie that, with apologies to Ayn Rand, should have been titled Atlas Sucks. See, that adds nothing. See, this is a kind of a review that doesn't add anything. What do you mean Atlas sucks? Tell me why. Oh, you don't know who Ayn Rand is? Well, guys, yeah, see, that's pointless. And all that does is just add to bandwagon haters that'll be like, oh, it's stupid. I don't want to see it. It's like, start to think for yourself a little bit, guys. Anyway, there's no talking to those people anyway. They're never going to come on board. Uh, Lopez throws everything at this, but even major movie star charisma can't make up for the recycled story elements, tired exposition, and endless psychobabble. Okay, this one has a little bit more meat, and this one we can actually work with. Tired exposition. The countless times I said throughout the movie and our reaction here on the channel, yeah, okay, this is a little bit like Blade Runner at times. This is like Matrix putting the thing into your brain and stuff. Recycled story elements and psychobabble. I don't know if I would agree with that. But you know who seems to be a master at weaving in story elements that are familiar uh, is James Cameron. James Cameron uses very familiar tropes, and I don't see people complaining too much there. Um, well, I guess maybe they said it was Fern Gully in space, Dances with Wolves in space, but people liked it anyway because of the visuals. And I would say give Atlas a chance because of the visuals. They're not as poorly done as you think that they well should be for a Netflix film. And JLo does a good job in this. She really does. I was mesmerized by her a couple of times. So let's round up my sheet and see if I land. Probably, well, I'm definitely not 17, as you can see. I'm thinking ballpark 7 is where I'm probably going to be with my score sheet here. Going into the watchability factor, if you're a JLo fan, you'll want to check it out, right? Like hands down, you'll have the JLo fans there. But it's on Netflix, guys. You don't have to pay top dollar to go out and see it or to sit down and watch it. So I give it a 7 out of 10. In fact, I want to watch it again. So I give it 1.5. 7.5 for Atlas. Yeah, that's where I'm landing. 7.5. And I would even own it on Blu-ray if I could, maybe. I don't know. I liked it that much. Some of the imagery is still sitting with me in here. There's a great shot of her, like she's doing something in the mech and she like cheers when something happens. And it's like, oh, wow, that's awesome. I dig that. Atlas, guys, have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Were you surprised by it in its quality? At least give me the fact that give me the visual effects. Tell me that they looked pretty decent, even if you didn't like the story or whatever. Yeah, 7.5 is for me. Atlas, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Okay, so if you like this kind of thing, guys, here on the channel, we talk about things like the new Superman suit. We got movie reviews for Furiosa, full movie reactions for Atlas. That's up on the channel. Movie reviews for Back to Black, Strangers Chapter 1, I Saw the TV Glow, full series reactions for Fallout, And then we do movie news throughout the week where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including a bunch of little shorts here and there and stuff that, you know, people have fun with, like what's your best and worst movie lines and stuff like that. Uh, Lots of fun right here on Mirror Domains. If not, enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Tomorrow, probably, right? Yes?